Welcome back. This is Sports Chat and I'm Robin Toskin. I'm talking to two journalists, Michael Mukusiawere and Seth Onserio, on what the future holds on the Kenyan Premier League, especially after the government announced new measures to curb the COVID pandemic. Football Kenya Federation had earmarked November 20th as the start of the new season. Teams have been conducting their transfers. They've signed several players, and one of them, the champions Gor Mahia, have brought in 17 players. And this is where I ask Michael Mukusia, 17 players, that is Gor Mahia. It was only known that it was FC Leopards that was always changing almost the whole team, but then Gor Mahia this time round coming up with 17 players. Will it work?
It's like a gamble. I can say it's like a gamble. Yeah. But you see, there's the issue also of money. The fact of money is a big thing when it comes to a club like Gor Mahia or FC Leopards or any other club, to ensure that you retain most of those valuable players. It's not something easy for a club that has got no source of income that can actually sustain a number of things in terms of football management. So that's why you can see a number of those people actually left the club.
Okay. Seth Onserio, 3 teams have been promoted to the Kenyan Premier League. Of course, Vihiga being the latest after beating Kisumu All-Stars in that relegation promotion playoff. There is Nairobi City Stars. There is also Bidco FC. It's only Vihiga that has not submitted their players because they were involved in the playoffs. But what do you think Vihiga should do now that they are coming back to the Kenyan Premier League?
Actually, it is tricky for Vihiga United because even if they go in the transfer window, yes, we understand they have until November 13, that is this Friday, to send players who will help them to play in the league. But actually, my problem is I was speaking to Francis Xavier Celebwa. Celebwa used the word head start, that other clubs had the head starts, and he was really sure. I was not sure whether Vihiga United will get competitive quality players who can help them compete in the league. And also, Xavier talked about getting support from the Vihiga County. Yes, we understand that the county also promised the team support, but he felt that it was more of a PR stunt, that it has been always like that. Even if, yes, they qualify for the league, they don't get that support. They don't get the budget to bring in new players. And it is my worry, of course. We know the 2018-2019 season, the team struggled. Why? Because they did not have those players, those quality players with the league experience to help them push for the top positions. And this time around, yes, we know they have eliminated a team from that played in the top tier last season. But my problem is, where will they get those quality players, considering the fact that other teams have already signed them? Right now, how can you convince, for example, the likes of AFC Leopards, the likes of Wazito maybe, the likes of Posta Rangers, to sell or to give you, or maybe to sell you a player when they have already submitted their plans, when they already have their plans with these players? Actually, it will be tough for them.
Perhaps they will rely on maybe loan deals to get maybe those fringe players from the big teams. But Michael Were, there are no concerns with the Nairobi City Stars and, of course, Bidco. They are financially stable, so we should expect a huge challenge from them.
Well, City Stars are back after a given period of time. They've been out, and you see they've tried as much as possible to reorganize themselves. And you see, it's all about management. And I think the issue of money is also a major factor that has really contributed for City Stars to bounce back. And you see the likes of Amboko are there, and Koriri, I think, is one of the managers, somebody who has been in the football for a long period of time. And you see they've really also tried as much as possible to rope in a number of key players that I believe will be very instrumental in ensuring that they perform towards expectation in the 2020-2021 Bet King Premier League. But with Bidco, I don't know how they're going to manage, because they haven't been that promising, according to me, that is, when they were playing at the lower division.
Yeah, but of
And
course,
maybe, Toskin, if I jump in,
yes.
looking at City Stars, I was looking at also the players that they have brought on board. You see, these clubs, especially the ones that have gained promotion, they tend to think that the top tier, the league actually, the Kenyan Premier League, the FKF Premier League, that is kind of the same and the same quality with the NSL.
Yes.
And Nairobi City Stars, yes, they have the money, but they have not been that serious in terms of signing in players. For example, looking at the signings the players that they brought in, these are players who did not convince me, actually, did not convince in the league. For example, we're talking about Sven Yida. Sven Yida, last season, actually looked shaky. Steve Njunge, the goalkeeper for Wazito, was released, was dropped. Why? Because he was inconsistent in goal. And then also, talking of this guy, the one who's been brought, Herit Atariza. Yes, from Coast Tima. Yes, from Coast Tima. He has been brought, actually, to be the defense. And looking at the same defense, they have let some players leave, players who could have helped them. And then coming to Bidco, I don't know, okay, no pun intended, but I don't see, or I don't know what people see in Piston Mutamba that you sign him as your lead striker. He had a chance with Sofapaka, he flopped. Wazito went for him, he flopped. Even last season when Hull gave him a chance. And then now, Anthony Ahulia has signed him. We have Stephen Waruru. Stephen Waruru, again, no pun intended, is like a used cartridge already. His good days, best days are over. Bidco also went for this guy, Noah Fuller, from Kakamega Homeboys. Noah Fuller is more like also Stephen Waruru, in the way that I think their best days are just behind them.
Behind them.
Yes. So
interesting. That is a harsh, analysis of the Bidco Stars, but we hope that they'll pick it up as the season begins. But then, generally, there has been a problem with the start of the season. Of course, we've seen the fixtures are out. Do you think November 20 is a possible date for the season to start, Seth?
There's this word that we usually use in the streets, Kwamta, FKF Fuende Kimangoto. What I mean is, let them just start the league. That's what I mean. Because we've seen other events, we've seen the political rallies and everything taking place.
Yeah, but they have been suspended. They have been suspended. The president said
yes, they have been suspended.
And of course, the minister also, Ambassador Amina Mohamed, said that no contact sports at this moment. So you want them to go Kimangoto?
Yes, Toskin. What happened last weekend? Yes, they were suspended. But I think you and I are journalists, and we've seen what is happening. First, FKF have promised that there'll be measures, tough measures. They'll employ a cautious approach as far as the league is concerned. We're talking about 40 or less, I think 40 people in the stadium, 40 people who have been tested, 40 people, actually, how can I put it? 40 people who have been tested, number one, and 40 people who do not have a higher risk of spreading the virus, 40 people whose health is okay. So for me, the FKF should at least, okay, why the two, was the two, how can I put it?
You are encouraging the breaking of the rules and regulations, but just to finish quickly, less than 30 seconds, Michael Mukusia, what do you think? What should FKF do?
Well, they must work with the government via the Ministry of Sports. You see, we are in a very tough situation at the moment. It's all about the corona or the COVID-19, something that's very serious. It's claiming the lives of so many individuals across the globe. So by the mere fact that the government has put in measures to curb the pandemic itself, I think it will be appropriate also for the government to ensure that the sporting activities resumes back. It's happening all over the world. Our neighboring countries are doing it. It's very much possible, only that we need to focus or adhere to the set rules and regulations, all those measures by the Ministry of Health and also the World Health Organization.
Thank you very much. That is Michael Were Mukusia, commentator in the Kenyan sports circles. And of course, I've been talking to Seth Onserio, also a journalist. They've been talking about the measures that should be taken for the resumption of the Kenyan Premier League. Now, we want to shift gears and look at what is happening around the world as the international news. So, of course, everyone concerned with the resumption of football in this country should now rally together, come around FKF and address the issue and ensure that sport, especially the Kenyan Premier League, returns. Of course, as we've seen, all African countries, most of them have resumed to play the game. But then we want now to shift gears and look at what is happening around the world in terms of the international news. And I can see my colleagues, that's Michael Gitonga and Trixie Ngado, are back. And of course, we hope that Harambee Stars also will have a good day on Wednesday when they host Comoros in the African Cup of Nations qualifiers. COVID pandemic still wreaking havoc, but we believe that the authorities will put in place the measures, the mechanisms